Welcome to the Crown Casino in Melbourne, Australia, where the world's finest poker players have traveled from across the globe to compete in the Southern Hemisphere's premier poker tournament. FullTiltPoker.net presents the Aussie Millions. Tonight, a rare glimpse into one of poker's biggest games. A table of elite pros compete in an exclusive, invitation-only cash game format. Massive pots will change hands all night, and there's no limit on what can be won or lost.
With the cash game, if I go bad in this game, I might lose 200, 300, 400, 500,000. That takes a little bit to get that back.
The best players in the world playing the biggest cash games. That's just the bottom line.
To me, tournament poker is the biggest grind in history, and a cash game is a rush.
Some of poker's biggest names are about to mix it up with a fortune at stake. From the Crown Casino in Melbourne, Australia, FullTiltPoker.net presents the Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational. And we welcome you to the Crown Casino here in Melbourne, Australia. Barry Tompkins, my partner, the noted poker author Michael Koenig. And Mike, what a field we've assembled.
Some of the greatest players in the world have come. John Jawanda, three-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner.
Patrick Antonius is one of the best players in Europe.
He hails from Finland, and he is fierce.
David Benjamin, he comes from France. He has 2 World Poker Tour titles already.
One of Europe's biggest cash game players.
Jeff Lissandro, he's a transplanted Italian, now living in Melbourne. Look at the money that he's won.
Very comfortable in the big game, and that man, Phil Ivey, is perhaps the most comfortable, one of the biggest players in the world.
And as good as Phil Ivey has played, maybe this guy has played better this year.
Already, Eric Lindgren won $1 million in the $100,000 buy-in event.
Got to deal with the mouth that roared. Mike Mattis out 2 World Series of Poker bracelets for him.
And that's our X Factor, Masa Kagawa, an amateur from Japan, a wealthy businessman here to play.
Let's talk about the rules. It's no limit Texas Hold'em. Players can buy in for any amount. They can enter or leave the game at any time. And each chip represents an actual Australian dollar amount, about 80 cents to the American dollar.
Here we go, boys.
Here we go, boys, in a cash game. 300 and 600 of the blinds with a $100 ante.
Barry, this is really a great, fresh experience for us. Normally, we are seeing players play with tournament chips. This is real money. Every time they're putting in a bet, they got to back it up with cash.
Pocket nines for Antonius. He's going to raise to 2,000. And Benjamin wakes up with pocket tens. He'll re-raise to 7,000.
So much for a feeling out period.
Yeah.
I mean, right off the bat. Look at this. The pot's already up to. Ivey's reaching for extra chips. He's raising another 18,000 with 6 high.
Those big placards are 25,000. And Ivey with a 6-4. We've seen this before.
I guess you could say Phil Ivey is setting a tone. You guys want to play big? Welcome to my office.
Benjamin makes the call.
And look at David Benjamin. I mean, he's got a pair of 10s, and Phil Ivey has just juiced up this pot. He just calls it 53,000 in that pot.
9 Jack King on the flop.
What a terrible flop for Benjamin. And Antonius is thinking what might have been. He would have flopped a set. But Benjamin, look, he's looking at 2 big overcards. Makes sense that Ivey could have some of that.
37,000 is the bet by Phil Ivey.
So right off the bat, Benjamin is tested, and I just don't see how he calls here. I mean, you've got to give Phil Ivey credit for a big hand. We know he has but a 6 high.
And he's going to fold it, and that 6 high is going to be good enough. And there's $90,000 in our first pot.
You are very good, man. You are very good.
Genius.
Genius.
You know what? He don't have a big hand up at the third, baby.
Yeah, Phil Ivey definitely had a big hand for the blackjack table.
Yes.
He told me he was going to do that at dinner tonight. He said, first hand, I'm just not even going to look.
Let's take a look at our chip values, and you can see the black chip is 100. And then you got your $500 chip, nice baby blue $1,000 chip. And, of course, that $25,000 placard.
It looks like what you see in the James Bond movies.
Well, it does, from Monte Carlo, actually, and that's where I first saw those chips, and they still play with those there.
Nice to have a bunch of rectangles in front of you.
Yes. Unfortunately, mine are bricks. John Juanda with an ace-10 offsuit will raise to 2,000.
And Barry, you know, when you see a hand like that, the other players immediately understand that if they want to get into any pot, they might have to be willing to commit all their chips.
I know you're just attacking Mikey's blind.
Yeah, I'm just weak.
So 2 players to the flop, ace-6 against ace-10.
And Juanda has position on Lindgren.
And there is another 6 for Lindgren.
Don't be attacking me.
Not yet.
Lindgren checks.
I think he's trapping here, Barry. I know Lindgren suspects he has the best hand right now.
John Juanda, one of the most steady players in the world. 3,500 is the bet.
Little sort of probing bet, trying to figure out where he's at. And Lindgren, by calling there, really doesn't give him an answer.
A queen on the turn. Check from Lindgren.
Juanda looks
72.
like yeah, he's continuing.
7,200, says Juanda.
Well, the first bet was a prober. This one's a tester. I mean, Lindgren's got to decide, is my 6 still good? The queen can be a troublesome card. He thinks he's okay.
And he may be. To the river. Another queen.
Now Lindgren, I believe, just wants to show this hand down. And Juanda has to decide, can he bluff Lindgren off this? Or he might want to show it down too. Maybe he thinks his ace high is good.
Check.
Check from Juanda, check from Lindgren, and Lindgren will win the hand.
26,000 just by having the courage to hang in there with a very middling pair. And look at it this way, Eric Lindgren, in addition to the $1 million he won earlier this week, he's now got his next 2 World Series of Poker buy-ins taken care of.
He is rolling, and so are we. This is the FullTiltPoker.net Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitation. We welcome you back to the FullTiltPoker.net Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational.
Well, the biggest difference between cash and tournament poker is in a tournament, you buy in for $10,000. Let's say you see a couple $100,000 pot. If the person loses, he's going to lose $10,000 his entry fee. In a cash game, if he loses a couple $100,000 pot, he's going to lose a couple $100,000.
Well, tournaments, you might see some all-in moves. You might see a lot of craziness that comes to a tournament because all you can lose is that tournament buy-in. Here, if you lose, you can rebuy, put another 100, 200, whatever you want on the table and go again.
I try not to bluff as much in the cash game. In the tournament, sometimes you can get away with it.
People are going to see a lot of people taking a lot of flops. They're going to see a lot of poker. They're not going to see just all-in call, come over the top. You're going to see a lot of flops.
There's a lot of playing and you have to make a lot of different situations. The board is changing. The luck factor is less. And I prefer this kind of game. I love it.
Having these cash games on TV is really big because you get to see a whole different form of poker and what poker is really all about.
I'm Barry Tompkins, along with my partner Michael Koenig. And Michael, as the guy said, we're looking at a very different form of Texas Hold'em.
Yeah, we're accustomed to watching tournament poker on television where, as Phil Ivey suggested, if a guy goes all in and gets busted, he's only lost his entry fee. Tonight, they are playing for real cash money. So every time a guy bluffs, let's say, with a 7 high and says, here's 50,000, he's saying, I'm going to raise you a luxury automobile. And his opponent is saying, okay, I'll see that and raise you the down payment on a new home. This is serious stuff. And it gives us a great glimpse because these guys are the biggest and best players in the world, not because some rich uncle left them an inheritance, but because this poker table is their office.
Let's get back to the action.
Blinds 300 and 600 with a $100 ante. King 8 this time for Benjamin, and he calls. Ivy will play with an ace 8. Mattis out, queen 9 suited. And he'll call. Now Kagawa will throw this away. Juanda will call on the small blind, and that means Antonius will see the flop for free. 5 players to the flop. 7-9-4 on the flop. Mattisau's caught a pair.
Top pair, pretty good kicker. If nobody shows any strength here, I think Mattisau takes this pot. Well, Benjamin.
Yep, 4 hearts.
Excellent semi-bluff here, Barry. He has a flush draw. He's hoping to pick up the pot right here, but if he does get call, he has a very good drawing hand, and Mattisau raises
to 6,000, and now the onus falls back on Benjamin.
I think Mattisau correctly read the situation. He thinks Benjamin is drawing, and he's not going to let him do it cheap.
Still mulling it over, but it looks as though he's going to go.
And you can see by our on-screen odds, this is a perfect coin flip.
He calls.
Mattisau trying to decide, does that mean Benjamin's on a draw or he has the best hand?
Here's the turn, and he's caught his flush.
Now, Barry, a lot of players here would check to the aggressive Mike Mattisau, let him do their bidding. Benjamin, though, it looks, yeah, he's reaching for chips, and it looks like he wants to juice up this pot, knowing this is the best way to induce Mattisau to make this a large pot.
16,000 is the bet to Mattisau. Mattisau looking at the big chips here. 50,000.
And that's exactly what Benjamin was hoping for.
How much you playing?
Asking him how much he's playing.
Okay, I got it. I see it.
Benjamin trying to determine. He knows he's got the best hand right now. It's not the nuts, but unless Mattisau has an ace-high flush, Benjamin knows he's good, and he just wants to know, is he going to lose his customer if he bets too much?
I'm all in.
There he goes.
Yeah, all in, Benjamin. $158,200. Remember, that's real dollars.
Mike Mattisau would have to put in about another 70,000 or so to call here. That is a tough call with only a pair of nines and that scary board out there. He also knows, Mattisau knows, that Benjamin is capable of making that move with just the ace of hearts in his hand. Boy, and remember, these are not tournament chips, Barry. This is real money, and he throws it away.
Throws it away, and Benjamin will take down the $158,200 pot. And that is a blow to the stomach for Mike Mattisau.
They always make a flush on there.
We're coming back. Lots more to come. Don't go away. We welcome you back to the FullTiltPoker.net Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational. We are in Melbourne, Australia. Here's where we stand right now. Now, these are the winnings. These do not necessarily reflect how many chips are in front of each player, but Benjamin, having won a big one against Mike Mattisau a moment ago, 60,900. Mattisau down at the bottom at 57,000 down right now. Now, of course, players bought in for various amounts. I think also interesting that the amateur, Masa Kagawa, is just about even right now.
He has a front row seat at the action. A great view.
Mattisau, Queen Jack, Juanda, an ace-6 suited.
On the button. He'll have the best position throughout the hand.
Check.
Antonius going to participate here.
Well, I'll see it.
Benjamin just checks in on the big blind. 9-10 Jack.
Great flop for Mattisau. In addition to the top pair, he's got an open-ended straight draw, but so does Benjamin. And Juanda has the nut flush draw with the spades.
And Mattisau bets 3,000. Call from Juanda.
Knight +1.
Benjamin will throw it away. Two players. And another Jack.
Great card. Mattisau, pretty tricky, just checks it here. Juanda might want to take a free card here. He is drawing to the nut flush. Gets a freebie. Oh!
And catches. Wow.
And Mike Mattisau let that card get there. Didn't charge John Juanda a penny. And Juanda has now made the nut flush.
Juanda will bet $7,000.
Mattisau has a straight, but again, you know, that's two hands in a row we've seen where a flush has come up and bit Mike Mattisau's bankroll.
And you have an idea he knows it right here.
Well, this is a much smaller bet. You know, Jawanda just bet 7,000. This is the kind of bet where a guy is begging you to pay him off.
16,000 in the pot.
You know, and I think this smells like a value bet. And Mattisau makes a great fold there, recognizing he has beat Jawanda, scrapes 16,200.
Couple of tough hands for Mike Mattisau.
I had a flush Mike before.
I know.
But big.
I know.
Well, Mike Mattisau smart to lay down that hand when he saw the flush come, but that's no surprise. Playing in big money games, nothing new for him.
I'm a cash game player, no matter what anybody says. It's where I made all my money my whole life playing cash, so looking forward to it. Am I the only one having fun here?
He's really hit or miss. He could play well, and he could play really, really, really bad.
Mike Mattisau, he is capable of playing good poker, but, you know, as we all know, he's highly inconsistent. A lot of the time, he just make plays just to maybe impress somebody or try to outplay your opponents.
Donkey! You're a donkey!
Mike Mattisau plays well in spurts, but he's inevitably going to blow up and make a stupid mistake. When he gets away with it, he calls it a genius play. Of course, when he gets caught, he's like, oh, I blew up.
I knew you had nothing at every point. You could never win the pot unless you flop a 9.
No, I was crazy.
If I flop nothing, I'm just moving in.
It's a myth, is what it is. It's a myth. I don't blow up anymore.
I am steaming! I am steaming now!
You're such an idiot. You're such a donkey. If he gets one more chip from me, I'm going to go kill myself. Anybody thinks I'm an underdog to win the money in this game, they're crazy.
Make no mistake, Mike Mattisau has established an outlandish reputation. The man can play poker. But you know, this game is more than just about math. It is really about controlling your emotions, and this is the area that Mike Mattisau constantly has to work on.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue in this type of game, even though he says he's a cash player. Maybe not his best format. Benjamin, 6-5, suited. He calls. Lindgren at Queen 10. He will call. Ooh.
Could this be the hand for Mattisau to get a little back?
He raises to 3,000. And a call from Benjamin. So 2 players. We'll go to the flop.
Hello.
Mattisau, a set of kings.
Oh, he checks it. He's going to slow play it. Oh, Benjamin checks it back. And with that 3 of diamonds, Benjamin now has a straight and flush draw, and we know how brutal the flushes have been to Mattisau. He's not going to let Benjamin get there for free. Bets 5,000.
Benjamin makes the call. On the river, an ace. No help to Benjamin, and Mike Mattisau is finally going to win one.
And I think Mattisau is praying that Benjamin had an ace in his hand.
Yep. 5,000 to bet.
Who are you going to try and represent a 4?
You're saying my 2 pairs aren't good? Is that what you're saying?
A 2 pair might be good. But no, 2 pairs not good.
2 pairs no good?
So just a little gamesmanship here.
I hope you don't lie on TV. That's all I can tell you. I just hope you don't lie on TV.
He does lie on TV, but in this case, he's not.
Benjamin has no intention of calling, of course. He's thinking, can I raise this guy off the hand?
I'll fold down.
And decides, no, I cannot.
It's unfair. 2 pairs.
And he shows his kings that time. So Benjamin knows he's been beaten.
And the rest of the table knows that Mike Mattisau is not steaming. They know he had the goods, played it nicely, and he's back in the game.
You might have had a 4 against me. I expect to lose every pot.
If I move all in, I have a 4.
I know, believe me. Sure. I was trying to get information out of you, man.
He kind of regretted betting. He was like, please don't move forward.
He's right. When you're right, you're right.
Now, Mattisau good-natured, but also got a little something back. We're coming back as well. We welcome you back to the Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational here in Melbourne. Before we get back to the action, our own Rebecca Harlow had an opportunity to explore the spectacular Crown Towers.
Nestled on the bank of the Yarra River, Crown Towers is the luxury destination in Melbourne.
Crown Towers is the most luxurious hotel in the whole of Australia.
Exquisite architecture and opulence abounds. And dining is an A-list event. There are an incredible 47 upscale eateries and bars from which to choose. If you crave it, you can find it at the Crown.
Their service levels are exceptional, and that's something that we've totally prided ourselves on the whole way through since we opened. But aside from that, the whole property is a total world of entertainment.
The world-renowned Crown Casino is the largest gaming property in the Southern Hemisphere. Its dazzling main floor stretches for more than half a kilometer, providing non-stop excitement. But sometimes, even the wildest players need a little downtime. The Crown Spa offers the most decadent treatments in these gorgeous private pampering suites. It's no surprise that everybody from Cameron Diaz to Elton John to Bill Clinton have all surrendered themselves to bliss. I could get used to this.
Tough call when you're in Australia. Outdoors or indoors? I think it's the Crown Towers by a nose.
Pretty great place, isn't it? Well, Lissandro with an ace-king. He's going to call. Ivy, Jack 3 suited, and Lindgren a pair of queens.
And he just calls. And Mattisau with jacks. Look at this hand. This is an 8-handed table.
Mattisau going to raise it up to 9,500. And Kagawa has a pair as well.
Man, and the Japanese amateur hasn't played a single hand. He's dealt a pocket pair on the button. He's reaching for chips.
I'm not lying.
And he's going to call.
Man, this has turned into a huge hand. Antonius is thinking about it as well.
And he folds.
Now, Lissandro, remember, he was in opening position. He's supposed to have either a drawing hand or a huge hand.
Let's make it an early night.
And he says, I've got a big one. He's all in.
Wow. Ivy gets out of the way. But he's going to get takers. You know that.
Well, 73,000 is the bet. And now, Eric Lindgren originally was trying to set a trap with those queens. I think he got... No, he's folding. You know, it takes a lot of effort to get all those chips in there.
And Mattisau just pushes all in. Kagawa, thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, that was Mattisau's last 42,000 chips.
How big is it then?
I think you got 2 9s. Let's see if I'm right.
I got ace king.
You got ace king? What I have my best now.
And these players know that these two hands matched up are pretty much a coin flip.
I'm in deep trouble.
No, you're not.
So they're flipping coins for $116,000.
That's a big coin.
Want to save something?
Let's just save 25 each.
All right.
Okay, now what's happening here? Both players are pulling out $25,000 of their money just to limit the variance a little bit here. Oh, and Lissandro got the king.
I know how I run, don't worry.
He had 2 overcards, and he got one of them on the flop.
I never refuse.
Now Mattisau needs some help.
Ooh,
at 10.
Picks up an open-ended straight draw.
That's a pretty good card.
Just when I thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Mattisau looking for a 7 or queen for the straight or jack to make 3 jacks.
Oh, yeah.
Here is the river. A 3 that won't do
Like Mattisau, drawing like 81 to dog.
Just ship it all over here.
And Eric Lindgren, remember, folded the queens. He dodged the bullet. Mike Mattisau has but one little rectangle in front of him now, $25,000.
Big hand for Lissandro, and that will put him in a very powerful position right now.
The latest recipient of Mike Mattisau's goodwill.
I was so sure I had the best hand.
Finishing second, just not going to get it done in this game. This, the FullTiltPoker.net Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational. Welcome back to the FullTiltPoker.net Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational. Get ready, because in 2 weeks, the Aussie Millions main event takes center stage. A record field and $7.5 million purse promise to make this tournament one of the biggest ever.
It seems every time that I leave Melbourne and I come back, it gets crazier.
This is the biggest tournament I think that there's ever been outside North America. Kind of a historical event.
Don't miss history in the making. The Aussie Millions main event begins right here in 2 weeks.
Some of the greatest players in the world have congregated down under, and some ambitious amateurs like Masaki Kagawa, a very wealthy Japanese businessman who said, I want to play with the big boys, sign me up.
And he's sitting at the table in some high cotton, but holding his own, doing okay right now. Makes the call, and now Benjamin will raise it up to 2,600. Phil Ivey with an ace-10 suited. He calls. Lindgren will go away. Mattisau 6-7 suited. He calls, and so does Kagawa. So 4 players to the flop. And a lot of clubs on the table. Ace 6-7 of spades.
Wow, Kagawa has the nut flush draw, but Mattisau, 2-pair, says, this is my last 21,900. Anybody wants to draw, that's the price.
It's the line in the sand. And it likely won't get any better than that for him, so why not?
Kagawa has the nut flush draw, but he would have to put in about 22,000 to win 33,000. Not really a very good price to draw here.
But he does call.
A little borderline play there.
Good enough to get Benjamin out and Ivy.
2-pair.
So they will show him. And 2 cards for Kagawa to catch a spade.
Spade.
Asking for a spade.
Come on, Montana.
This has been a evening of bad flushes for Mike Mattisau.
Sure has.
Can he fade another one?
Well, he's dodged 1 bullet.
So far, so good. Kagawa needs a spade. Oh, he got it. Oh, man. The amateur takes down the pot.
Lucky.
Well, sometimes lucky is better than good.
And Mike Mattisau has no more chips in front of him. Kagawa has busted him, and looks like Mattisau's going to take the old walkabout. Now, remember, Barry, he can go and get some more money, but I think right now Mike Mattisau's more interested in a very cold shower. Time to cool down.
Yeah, he just did not get the best of it at all today.
Biggest joking ever. I run so bad. Who runs worse than me, dude?
Right now, the answer to that is nobody. We've got 5 players who are in the black. Antonio's just minus 5,800, but look at Mattisau, deep in the red.
Nothing like having like 8 wins on 1 pull. I never win a pot in poker, man. It's all right. I could have rebought. I don't want to rebuy. I know how bad I run.
And the piano narrowly avoids a pounding.
Yes. So Chris Ferguson, another guy, of course, 2000 world champion and a very familiar face around a poker table, will be our new player at the table. Kagawa.
Nate.
With pocket 10s, going to raise to 3,100. Action folds now to Jeff Lissandro. Ooh. Lissandro with the pair of kings. What's he going to do?
Yeah, he's just calling. Disguising the strength of his hand.
Ivy and Lindgren go away. Queen 9 suited for Ferguson. He'll let that go. And let Lissandro and Kagawa fight it out.
Oh, 10. And Kagawa has flopped a set of 10s. He checks it over to Lissandro, setting a trap. Lissandro reaching for chips. Bet 7,000. And Barry, Lissandro probably thinks he has the best hand right now.
So, Michael, what is the amateur thinking?
He's thinking he can win a big pot here if he effectively disguises the strength, and he does that by just calling.
8 of diamonds on the turn.
And that card can be an action killer. Either guy, if he puts the opponent on a straight or a flush, it just got there. So Kagawa checks it. And I think this card, yeah, Lissandro checks. This could save him some money.
The deuce on the river.
Full house for Kagawa.
See how Kagawa plays this.
Expecting to bet here for value. There's 21,800 in the pot. I think about half the pot might be the ticket.
25,000.
Wow, and an instant call from Lissandro. And the Kings have been run down. Kagawa wins a $71,800 pot.
How about this amateur, huh?
Good thing I didn't play that hand. Like Queen 9 of diamonds. You get a lot of action in this.
Lucky you didn't play. I would have played my hand different.
Could have lost some more.
I lost a lot.
Well, Kagawa wins the hand, but it could have been a lot worse for Lissandro. He lost. But in the great scheme of things, a mere pittance. This is the FullTiltPoker.net Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational. I'm Barry Tompkins, Michael Koenig alongside, and we're alongside the Yarra River at the Crown Casino. Fabulous place, fabulous event going on. This is, of course, Cash Game. We've got 6 of the best poker players in the world and 1 talented amateur.
I want to know who's the biggest golf hustler in Vegas.
We all know who it is now.
I want to know who's the second biggest.
I don't even make the top. I don't make the top 5. That's for sure.
You'll be shocked to know, Barry, when these guys play golf in Las Vegas. Ooh, Kings for Lindgren. Occasionally, there's a little bet on the game.
Really?
And Lindgren juices it up to 1,200.
Deuce 5. That's not going to go far. Oh, Kagawa with the pocket pair. And he's going to call.
He's gotten his feet wet. He realizes, okay, I'm not a spectator. I'm actually playing this game. I'm with these guys I see on TV all the time, but I can play with them.
Lissandro has called in the big blind, so 3 players to the flop. 8, 10, 6 on the flop. Check from Lissandro.
Wow, and Lindgren playing his kings very quietly.
Kagawa will bet out, though, 2,500. And Lissandro will call.
With the double gutter straight draw. And Lindgren just calls. He's really playing this very passively.
And the jack gives Lissandro the straight.
And that is the danger of giving free cards. Lissandro receives his magic bingo card.
Now let's see if he can cash it. 7,000 the bet from Lissandro.
I think it's going to be real tough for Lindgren to get away from this. He doesn't know that he has no shot of winning.
He calls. Kagawa's had enough. So 2 players, and really Lindgren cannot get the cards to win.
Wow, Lissandro checks here. I think he's concerned that his opponent Lindgren has filled up there with the 8 pairing on the river.
18.
18,000 is the bet, and now it falls to Lissandro.
And you see, he really is thinking about this.
I call.
And he calls.
And that's going to be good enough. And Lindgren just kind of rolls his eyes like, what are you going to do? Lissandro with the straight, good enough to beat Lindgren. He got Lindgren to bet into him, and all he had to do was call.
Well, people always say, I don't know my handicap. I never got a handicap score. I know around what I shoot. I shoot around 90. I make fair games, and it comes down to who outperforms who.
Fair game in your opinion, right?
Yeah, in my opinion.
Let's ask the people who have lost to you.
What about the people I've lost to? I mean, you act like I never lose. I lose on the golf course all the time. Just haven't lately.
Well, yesterday we gave Phil a chance to show his skills at the Capital Golf Club, where FullTiltPoker.net treated their pros and online qualifiers to an afternoon on the links.
Howard,
dripping with golf talent. Okay, last time I saw you, it's just scary. There's so much I could take. They got ringers. They come from all over the world. They come from London, Birmingham, everywhere to play me. Beautiful. I got a double bogey on the first hole. I'm pretty happy about it. Well, let's get you some.
She's killing it, mate. She's tearing it up. You nearly lost an online qualifier about 5 minutes ago.
I hit the guy in the yellow. Did it hurt?
No, just hit me on the leg.
It smacked him pretty hard in the leg. It went
Yeah.
boom.
Oh, yeah. Sweetness has arrived.
I know you were robbing me. I know you were robbing me.
Rescue me, help me, save me. Everybody trying to take advantage of me here in Australia. Flew halfway across the world to lose my money.
Got the best swing, though, I'll tell you that.
Eric Lindgren, former athlete, very accomplished basketball player. Strange, though, in these Vegas golf games, the prettiest golf swing doesn't necessarily get paid off.
If, in fact, Phil Ivey wins, I can tell you that for a fact. Well, I didn't see Lissandro on the golf course, but at the poker table, he's looking pretty good.
Couple of ladies.
He'll raise to 2,400. Ivy and ace-7. Reaching for chips. He'll raise to 8,000.
Oh, and look at Eric Lindgren in the blind.
Let's see how he plays this big pair this time.
Raise.
He will raise to 26,000.
Yeah, no more quiet play with the big pocket pairs.
And Chris Ferguson says, thank you very much. Now Lissandro with queens facing a raise and a re-raise. Throws it away.
Fantastic fold there, Barry. And remember, this is not a tournament. Lissandro knows that all his cash could be on the line with that hand. Love that play there.
And Ivy and ace-7. He's in deep trouble.
Takes a little peek and says, I think you got it. We saw Eric Lindgren lose a lot of money slow playing the kings. I think he decided, I'm not going to make that mistake twice.
He was going to make certain this time, and he did it against one of the best players in the world. Lindgren wins this hand, but there's a lot more hands to be played. It's a cash game here in Melbourne, and we're coming back. Welcome back to the FullTiltPoker.net Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational. Let's see where we stand right now. We got 4 players in the black, 4 players in the red, and look at it's the amateur. Kagawa right now is our leader, 64,400 to the good. Lissandro not running very well. He's lost a couple of big hands down at the bottom, minus 38,100. And a couple of notes too. Mike Battisow, of course, lost over 100,000. He has not returned, but David Benjamin has returned to the table here. Action continues. Chris Ferguson, a deuce-6. He'll get rid of that. Queen 8 suited for Kagawa.
Nice.
And he's going to raise to 1,600. Jawanda gets rid of his hand. Antonius 5-6. And Benjamin King 9 suited. So 3 players. And the flop. 3-4-9, a pair for Benjamin.
Open-ended straight draw for the Finn, Antonius. I think that's exactly the kind of bet Antonius would like. Keep the pot fairly small, give him a good price to take a big chunk out of Kagawa's stack.
3,500 was the bet from Kagawa. Now Antonius, he'll call. Open-ended straight draw. Benjamin now, top pair with a king.
He's the odds-on favorite, and he's raising.
He's got a raise to 13,500. Kagawa says thanks, but no thanks. 2 players.
So it's 10,000 more to Antonius. And now this pot has gotten rather sizable.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, it's the straight. Check from Benjamin. Now what do you do?
I think Antonius needs to bet something here, but he doesn't want to lose his customer. Yeah, nice size value bet.
21,000. The bet from Antonius. And he's going to call. 8 on the river.
Check.
And an immediate check.
I think Benjamin desperately just wants to show this hand down. Yes, he has top pair. But this is not a hand he can be very confident about. Meanwhile, Antonius, look, that's $75,000, Barry. 325,000 rectangles. So Antonius has bet what amounts to a pot-sized bet. And I don't see how Benjamin can call here. I mean, the only hand he can really beat is a busted flush draw.
Taking an awful long look at it, though.
Remember, that's not $75,000 in tournament chips. That's $75,000 on merely a pair of nines with a king kicker.
And no tell on the face of Antonius. Absolutely impassive.
And Benjamin knows Antonius is the kind of player who is capable of betting 75, and he calls!
Right.
Wow. That was a heartbreaking hand for Benjamin. And still the expression on the face of Antonius does not change.
He's turning cartwheels inside.
It takes some nerve, though. I'll tell you, much more than I've got.
Well, that's why it's fun to watch. We just saw Patrick Antonius win a single pot with more than $200,000 in it.
Dollars being the operable word, I'll tell you that. Cold, hard Australian cash. And look at the lead that Patrick Antonius has built up. 128,000. Closest to him, Kagawa at 59. Next week, the Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational continues, and sparks fly when a new player joins the game.
You win it on the golf course. Don't worry about it.
Plus, you won't believe which of the players ends up the big winner.
We got action.
That's next week. Check your local listings for the day and time in your region. That's a wrap for us. For Michael Koenig, I'm Barry Tompkins. We'll see you next time from Melbourne's beautiful Crown Casino.